Welcome to the GCC Podcast brought to you by gatewAI. Today, we are excited to host Mukta Arora, former founding and managing director, Elanco, a distinguished leader in the healthcare sector with over 2 decades of experience handling GCC operations for companies like Elanco and Eli Lilly. She's also a member of the NASCOM GCC Council in Karnataka. With her experience of leading the Innovation and Alliance Center in India, Mukta has led the establishment of transformative GCCs, driving modernization, global collaboration, and operational excellence. Her passion for leadership development and diversity promises an insightful conversation ahead. So let's dive into her inspiring journey. Thank you so much, Mukta, for joining us on this platform.
My pleasure, Suchita. Yeah.
Thank you. So, Mukta, my first question to you is very specific to the industry you are coming from and the years of experience you've gathered. So, with over about a decade of experience in building and scaling GCCs, what would you say are the most significant contributions of GCCs to the global pharmaceutical and healthcare industries?
Yeah. Thanks, Suchita. I think in the healthcare industry, especially in the pharmaceutical industry, key outcomes that we look for is to bring drugs to the needy patients as soon as possible, right? So it's a simple sentences. Patients are waiting. You have to bring drugs to them. Each drug that is brought to the market costs us about $1.4 billion plus dollars and more than 10 years to bring to the market. So it's a long journey that a molecule and several molecules take to ultimately give us one drug. And anything that we can do to shave off time out of this 10-year journey will be huge breakthrough for any pharmaceutical company. So I have had the good fortunate both in my previous organizations to set up some very cutting edge technologies and capabilities in the GCCs here, ability to do these trials in a shorter time frame and ability to do smarter trials with better outcomes is something that can be impacted through the GCCs. Further down in the commercialization space, you are able to do better customer insights through the data analytics platforms, application of various modeling techniques. We are able to reach to the customers better, generate better pricing decisions, better targeting decisions, omni-channel marketing channels, and other things that allow us to optimize our sales force, optimize our marketing efforts, optimize our resources to make sure that we are making decisions that are data-driven and that are allowing us to reach to the right customers faster and in a more resource-efficient way. Your inventory planning, your demand forecasting, your production planning, a lot of things that you could do better through GCCs using digitization, using better technologies, AI, and other tools to centralize these, make them more efficient and make them more, suitable for the next generation of work is what GCCs bring to the table. So they are truly becoming core and strategic, actually impacting the entire value chain from discovery of molecules to a commercialization of molecules, even post-commercialization, safety studies, etc. Unlike the GBS of the past, which were just doing part of the very predictable transactional work, this is now spanning across the depth and breadth of the organizations.
Yeah. So rightly said, because we've been talking to a lot of leaders and we're seeing the whole shift happening, like you said, the R&D space, we're talking about innovation hubs. That's where a lot is happening, a lot of action happening with GCCs. So thank you for sharing your thoughts on this. Moving on to something more specific to the function and talking about teams, and you've led large teams in both these organizations. So leadership development and fostering diversity are critical now for all organizations. Everyone's clearly talking about that. What approaches or frameworks have you found most effective in creating, an inclusive high-performance team within the GCCs that you've operated in?
Yeah, good question, Suchita. I think the most important piece from my standpoint has been that we get the right talent here. We get lots of skills here. But what we lack is the context of the business, right? So my first point here is that we need to invest in making this talent get the context of the business. So contextualization and connection with the business purpose is very important. So there, making sure that there is a lot of exchange, a lot of connection, a lot of meetings, a lot of talent exchange, short-term assignments, things like that, which allow our talent here to understand the industry, the nuances there, and make sure that they understand the purpose of the organization. When we are building a model, what impact it can have, and how the organization will or will not make a decision based on the model, right? So that's very important. So that's the first step, which is contextualization and creating connections across. No point in building islands of excellence.
Yes,
We
yes, true.
need to create this whole one culture, one organization, which is well connected through these bridges of knowledge and exchange. The second point is the talent development, where I feel that there has to be intentionality there, right? So, having competency frameworks, having career paths for your talent group, making sure that you have early development programs for early leaders, catch them young, and not
Yes,
just keep them focused on one area. I had the good fortune to be trained across the value chain as worked with these great organizations. They allowed opportunity to go to different parts of the business and then experience it. And that's what is lacking today. People are getting extremely focused on one part of the business. And that's something that we have to break. So, allowing these cross functional movements and creating opportunities for people, creating these VOE surveys and taking them seriously, because that allows employees to speak up and tell us what they are looking for, right? So those have been the key tools that I've used. Besides that, I think the most important is authentic leadership and a culture. Okay, so you create a culture where people actually feel belonged. Their hearts are with you. They are able to see that the job that they do on a day-to-day basis, how it's connecting to the ultimate purpose of the organization. And only then I feel performance is just the side effect, because gaining their commitment, gaining their hearts, and making sure that they deliver excellence with a larger purpose in mind, right? Not just their work, but also how this work is going to change the purpose of the company, change the organization. So that culture of trust and culture of allowing failures, making sure they are given opportunities to speak up, those are the things that I think I have personally liked and like to implement as well in my leadership group, to ensure that we allow people to shine as the organization goals are met, their personal and professional goals are also met along with. And that's where we create a win-win.
yeah, which is really important. I love the points you raised about context setting with the business. So there's a connect.
Hmm.
And it's important because physically they are away from the parent organization for them to be able to understand the ethos of the organization and how they're going to impact the bigger
Hmm.
purpose, serve the bigger purpose. That's really, really essential. So thank you for sharing that with me. As the way forward and, looking at things more with a futuristic lens, I'd like to know, as GCCs, they are continuing to evolve all the time. We're hearing so much happening around that. What are the key trends or opportunities you see shaping their future, particularly in terms of innovation or either strategic collaboration, alliances in that area?
Yeah. So, one thing that really warms my heart is to see that a lot of GCCs have started calling themselves as corporate centers. And that tells a story, right? So, that tells a story of evolution, where we are saying that we are core and strategic to the organization. We house all capabilities together. So, there's an opportunity to synergize, to synthesize more, to create more of a organization which is built for tomorrow. So technology platforms, their stakeholders, their absorption is much higher because you are together, right? So you are able to also get customer insights much easier because you are sitting across the room and can get that vibe. Second thing that I see is, while we want innovation to happen across the entire organization, GCCs are providing stimuli because all
Yes.
functions are here. They see case studies, they see proofs of concepts of a technology implementation in one area, which encourages them, okay, I can also do it in this functions, right? So there's a lot of exchange and cross pollination of ideas, which is allowing different parts of the organization to use these centers to pilot, to fail, to experiment, and then to scale up if they are successful, right? So that's what GCCs are providing an opportunity. Third important piece that I have personally led and experienced is that they can also be hubs for external collaboration. So there's a lot happening in the Indian ecosystem. We have some of the best CDMOs, contract drug manufacturing organizations, contract research organizations, IT organizations, and analytics organizations. There's a lot that you want to do together, right? There's a lot that you want to do in a way that best utilizes the resources. So these strategic collaborations can be managed out of these GCCs, giving organizations an opportunity to not to just build up resources internally, but also, make it a more resource efficient way to get the best expertise for the company. And then the fourth important thing is we are seeing a lot of leaders coming out of our GCCs here, which are actually impacting global landscape and also impacting the journeys of the organization. So as India becomes very important, as Indian market is expanding and maturing, GCCs are maturing, we see a lot of strategic components coming out of these GCCs, right? So the CEOs are taking a lot more interest. They are being called corporate centers. Everybody is now looking at what more can be done through these opportunities that we have for innovation, for technology, for making an agile organization, or for synergizing just different parts of the organization and making more data-led decisions, etc. Truly inflection point where GCCs will become much more core and strategic for a lot of organizations who have matured with this concept.
Yes, it's a very positive note, to end this conversation. And of course, we're all very optimistic on how it looks in the future. So moving on to our next section, which is more to know you as a person. And we're excited to know some of the things. I have three questions that I'll just put up to you. One is like, what's your favorite way to celebrate a big win? You've led big teams. And what was your big and the best way to celebrate a win?
Celebrate the win almost every time. I think it's with the employees, with the team. So I personally feel employees are the souls of the organizations, right? So that's the uniqueness, because technology is being democratized, but this unique set of people is what defines the organization. So celebrating with people and making them feel this is their win.
Thank you. So what's the one thing you can't start your day without?
A cup of tea. So that's my first thing that I can't start my day without. A good cup of tea is a very important stimulant. Absolutely.
Yeah, the absolute Indian way of starting the morning. Okay, so what's your favorite holiday destination, if I can ask you?
Yes. I mean, out of all the places I've visited, I think I found my heart in Florence. And,
Okay.
the history, the vibes, the culture, the food, the people, just, I felt so much at home. So that's my favorite. Yeah.
Holiday destination.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. It
Yeah.
was lovely being here with you. Thank you so much. Interesting conversation, and we hope our paths cross soon too. I
Thank you,
will
Suchita, for having me. And it's been a pleasure. Yes, absolutely.